I call it the dark narrative swirling around veterinary medicine right now. There's a heightened awareness, the difficulties of this profession and the stress it induces. We're seeing higher signs of burnout, compassion fatigue, and there's a worry that client demands are high, that we are trying to meet the needs of clients that now are becoming overwhelming. When I think about communication in veterinary medicine, I was inspired in an early conference by a person that had this beautiful PowerPoint slide of people and animals, and she asked the group, she says, what kind of species do you think that you work the most with in veterinary medicine? And so there was the cat people and the dog people and the horse people and the cow people. And then she says, here's the reality. And she hit a button and all of the animals disappeared and it was just the people left on the screen. And then also making the headlines everywhere is this workforce shortage or workforce crisis that the profession is in, where we are worried that there isn't enough veterinarians, that there aren't enough, veterinary technologists, that we need more support staff. The veterinary teams themselves are getting bigger. The practices are getting bigger. The level of medicine and the amazing things we can do for care of all species of animals is becoming more. So I think we're in this more. And of course, it's quite a heavy weight.
I'm not sure how we didn't see it coming. We should have seen it coming, but it's here. CVMA and ABVMA have been doing some work, a lot of conversations about how are we going to address this shortage. Pretty universally, everybody says there's no magic bullet. There's no one solution to this. It's going to take a coordinated effort of a lot of interested parties and partnerships, collaboration between groups to make sure we can move this forward. We have talked about pretty universally in all conversations nationally and in Alberta about how do we engage technologists better in practice.
Oftentimes growth requires another veterinarian to come in to bring on more clients and service those clients. And it was difficult to find anybody to come in, and we're like, how are we going to service our community better? Because there is a need for clients finding what we call regular general practice. And we were having to turn people away because there aren't enough time to see new people.
Another very significant moment I recall, like it was yesterday, and I was working at Olds College and something came over the fax and I peeled it off. I happened to be in the photocopy room and it said ICCVM, the International Conference for Communication in Veterinary Medicine. It was the first time where somebody had said, if we could communicate better with people, medical outcomes are better, patient care is better, teams get along better. And to me, that was such a light bulb. I thought, holy wow, there's no greater desire for me than that. So that was driver number one. But then the other things that I started to see in research and started to see the more work that I did is that people's relationships with each other got better. The difficult conversations that we have in veterinary medicine can be more skilled, less draining, and that we can have better relationships with the owners of animals and the caregivers of animals. They feel better. Oh yeah, and then people that communicate better, their teams, they're better off with each other. Leadership gets stronger and more influential and more impactful. So at the core, it's still like, wow, like we can make animals better just by communicating better with their owners. And then there's all these other layers onto it. So to me, it really was a win. And it was the introduction to the science behind it in my degree program that really helped cement the fact that what I'd been seeing, what I've been feeling, now I could see it in research and literature and I could study it at that level. I've always loved animals. It's kind of a no-brainer. I think it's a bit of a prerequisite for anybody, veterinarian or RVT or assistant or anybody that wants to be involved in vet medicine. I chose becoming a registered veterinary technologist over becoming a veterinarian because I felt it was a better path, and taking the diploma route and doing the technology route was a better option for me. So that's what I did. Went to Fairview College. When I graduated, I worked in a mixed animal veterinary practice, and it was still, when I reflect back, probably one of the most significant experiences of my life. I was in a rural community. We were going out on calls with the veterinarians. I was interacting with people. And it didn't take me very long to realize how important the people aspect of this profession was. Then I had the opportunity to work at Olds College, and I started in the animal health technology program in '99, and I worked there for almost 20 years. And I had a dream even then to be able to educate all the people that supported the great work that veterinarians did. And still to this day, I'm in awe of the work that veterinarians can do. And then had another opportunity with Mosaic Veterinary Partners, made a big decision to leave Olds College and became the Director of Communication for Mosaic Veterinary Partners. So that really put me back sort of where I felt like I belonged, which was home to me, meaning in mixed animal practice, working with veterinarians and RVTs and being in communities. Through that, and of course, we had a pandy, COVID in there, where, I changed my hours a little bit. I wasn't traveling as much. And I went back to a bit of a dream. Might have been mildly alcohol-induced dream for when I was in my master's program with my dear friend and my current business partner, Sage McIntosh, where we thought it would be quite a riot if we had a business called BS, Communication Strategies. And of course, I'm Becky and her name is Sage. So the B and the S technically stands for Becky and Sage. It also stands for bullshit, which is what a lot of people think communication is. So 2021 bit the bullet and we incorporated because I thought maybe it could make a difference to all people. It certainly did for me. And I thought if the difficult conversations that people have with each other, more skilled, easier, if you will, it would be less exhausting for people. I think it's the people in the veterinary profession that are tiring us.
My experience when speaking with clients is that it really comes down to a confidence level. I feel that when you are non-confident, when you speak and continue to speak and don't know when to stop speaking because you're not sure if what you're saying is the right thing, clients can tell. But when a technician is confident, knows what to say, knows how to communicate it properly, more than really knows what to say, knows how to communicate those words properly, that a client will follow.
Why am I drawn to this problem? Because I'm positive there's a solution. And that is through skills-based training of dialogue and communication skill. And that's not something I've come up with. The academians and the people that have been teaching this in veterinary programs and in human health know that teaching those skills are really important and they will help. And I guess that's, for me, that's our motto, our company mandate is simply coaching people to communicate better from wherever they're at. We offered the first Mobilizing RVT program in November of 2021. And I put together this 5-day program where I thought the missing link for most registered veterinary technologists is the skilled dialogue to build that relationship with clients, to be able to bond them to the practice, to talk to them about behavior and diet and other pets that they have at home, and still work very collaboratively under the direction and supervision of the veterinarians that we work with. So the more people I started chatting with, I got a lot of that's a great idea. I had a number of veterinarians say, I don't know why we're not doing that already. We're going to talk about wellness behavior and wellness nutrition. We're going to work with simulated clients, real clients and their pets. We're going to work in small groups. Each RVT is going to get to basically run a whole appointment on their own. We don't actually inject any vaccines, but they do an assessment physical and they just practice building rapport with the client and finding out about their pet and really investing their curiosity and their interest in that person's story. And they'll get to do that in a safe place where we can coach and say, okay, let's stop there. And the good news is everybody already has dialogue skills. It's really in the refinement of these dialogue skills. It's in the practice of it. It's knowing very specific ways that people can get better at it without it just draining them where it's, 10:05 in the morning, they've spoken to 2 people and they're already exhausted. if I had to say I had a thing for the veterinary profession, is that I believe great dialogue can and will defeat burnout that we're seeing in our profession. That's what I'm after.
I took my Mobilizing RVT course about 1.5 years into practice, so I was a brand new baby tech. I was still learning. Day one, my biggest surprise was how inspiring Becky was and how motivated she made me feel. She was a force to be reckoned with. I just wanted to get into the clinic right away.
If we can relieve some of the burden that way by doing something we enjoy, then the veterinarian can see the medical cases, do the surgeries, do medicine that requires that level of care. So there are some people that worry maybe that RVTs will infringe maybe on some of those 3 things that only the veterinarian should do, but I think that's just worry. I don't think that's based in fact. I haven't met an RVT yet who's had a desire to do something out of their scope of practice, or to do something against the rules, or to put the lives of any animal in jeopardy. They are there in spirit always to support this great work that veterinarians do.
What drew me here today is to be able to spend more time in the exam rooms, face-to-face with the clients, and not hiding in the back in the treatment room as much, and being able to use some more skills that I have and just get to actually use them. In some ways, I've been getting a bit bored in the clinic and just want to be challenged more, to be just advocating for the animals more and just having more conversation with owners and helping educate them more too, and just hearing their story.
When I came in today, I was expecting it to be an in-depth course and to really go over a lot of the skills that I already possess. Now, it is definitely showing more of a how do you utilize your skill as a technologist as a whole picture. It's going to be a lot more than what I initially thought.
Our boss is very involved, so she came across the Mobilizing RVTs and wanted us to take the course to help with the veterinary shortage. Our practice is actually starting at May 1st, so we only have a week to prepare where we're going to start doing the wellness appointments. But I'm feeling really positive of moving towards that. I was feeling very anxious coming because I was like, how am I going to be ready after 5 days of training? But I'm kind of getting a grasp that I will be ready after the 5 days.
Before I get started, I want people to tell me what you think empathy is.
I feel like lots of people, which even I've struggled with, don't know the difference between empathy and sympathy. So it's always like that nice refresher of, this is the difference, how can I apply the difference? Because it gets confused with sympathy, so.
People often mistake the two. So sympathy is, I am sorry for you. I feel pity for you. And there's many times where we do feel sorry for people, especially in moments of loss. So empathy statement is the dialogue skill. Empathy statement is the dialogue skill. It's a relationship builder. It's a rapport builder. The client feels heard and accepted. When I first started looking at the research and literature and vet med, do you know the only thing that matters to clients is that we're kind and we care? Do you know the number one reason that clients are dissatisfied? Because they think we don't care.
Like, I don't not know how to communicate, obviously, but I want to improve that skill a little bit more. I want to say too, like, because of the like cultural aspect of also like the people that we're working with as well, it's having more of like an empathy for them is a big one. So it's kind of really dropping it down to the basics and being like, we need to communicate more. What's an open-ended question, and how are you going to use it in your conversation with clients? We're already trying to do these things, and it's that kind of teaching aspect of bringing it back and teaching others.
How I see Mobilizing RVTs affecting vet med and the industry as a whole, I think it could be something great. I think there would be a lot less burnout. There wouldn't be so much burden for our vets to carry. But taking that time and have at least 1 to 2 technologists working, doing wellness appointments, everyone would just, I think, have a weight off their shoulders.
In October of 2021, I saw the ad that Becky had out for the Mobilizing RVT course. Initially, we weren't sure how we were going to charge for it or how clients would respond. But with the Mobilizing RVT program, we decided that, this is something that clients will respond positively to. And we'd already seen some positive response in that our clients didn't seem to have a problem. I mean, we were able to get them in sooner than a lot of other clinics. They were still getting the service that they were looking for. And they might have had some reservations to start with, but once you explain what you're going to provide them and how you're going to do it, then they're on board.
It's just a tiny change. It's really nothing big in comparison to when I first started learning to start examinations, do full physical examinations in my practice. But those tiny changes made a huge difference in regards to how my entire conversation with these clients went.
And it was like, oh, okay, this is how this is supposed to go. This is what I want to say, how I want to say it. And I don't feel like I had so much pressure of I want to say all these things and do all these things, because now I've done them the first time. The second time I can kind of focus on a whole different set of things because I already know what I've done good the first time and how I can refine that even further.
I would say what surprised me the most was how much information you can get with those open-ended questions, that it answers a lot of questions that I would typically ask that are closed, and the spiel that I would typically do, I don't even need to do now because they've already answered everything for me. I see it being a lot more effective and proficient within the practice.
Even just also encouraging the other techs at the clinic that they are also capable of more than what they are doing right now, and to help build that confidence in them too.
Today was a huge eye-opener.
It's like a whole new way of communication for me.
At the beginning, we were talking about little changes such as utilize to mobilize, and that's exactly what this program was. It's making those little changes to make a huge difference.
I think it's going to make a huge change in my life and for Mal and for our practice.
When you're mobilizing RVTs, you're wanting to make more of your career.
To the veterinary profession, I think we can put an end to the dark narrative that is swirling around us, and that is around the fatigue that our people and our colleagues are feeling. And there's one way that I know how to do that, and that is to teach and practice and coach great dialogue skills. Because I think when I reflect on what's going on in our profession, I think it's the difficulties around interacting with people that's draining our people. And there's a simple solution, and that is to learn and practice great communication skills and practice great dialogue and help reframe how we think about these conversations and really start bringing the joy back into the profession, and the joy really comes from the people that are in it.